Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again for another Blu-ray DVD update. It's been about 2 weeks since my last one. A little bit later, my mom's going to pop in for her guest review this week. I have a nice size stack of stuff to show you today, so let's get cracking with it. The first one up from Universal is a 20th anniversary limited edition of the Best Picture movie from 1993. And if you guys are out there know, you're super film fans, you already know what this movie is. And that is Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List on Blu-ray, DVD, ultraviolet, digital copy. If you guys don't know this movie, it's about a guy named Oskar Schindler. It takes place back in the Holocaust, and it's about him trying to do the right thing by trying to save these Jewish people from going into these camps and being slaughtered, pretty much. It's just a really touching story. It really affects me because my grandparents barely escaped the concentration camps back then. Like my grandparents' parents, pretty much got them out of Poland just in enough time before the Holocaust happened. Like my grandparents' parents probably died in concentration camps, so it's kind of a touchy situation, a touchy thing for me. I'm not Jewish, but my grandparents were. My mom was adopted by my grandparents, and my grandpa always told me stories about what was going on at the time, and there's always been periods in time that I've always been really interested in learning more about. Like I always loved the Diary of Anne Frank. I learned about that in school, like the Holocaust and learning about the Titanic were the two things in history I like to learn about the most when I was in school, and even now. But this movie is always stood out to me. It is one of the best movies about the Holocaust out there. But this right here is the definitive edition of Schindler's List on Blu-ray. You get the other special features that were on the previous editions, like actual Holocaust survivors talking about their experiences. You get to see some of the people that Oskar Schindler, the real person, saved from the concentration camps, talking about the man himself. And the transfer on this movie is just absolutely amazing. It's a no-brainer if you guys are Steven Spielberg fans. Very, very nice transfer. Next up right here, guys, is from Warner Brothers. It's the Nightmare on Elm Street collection, all 7 movies on Blu-ray. It's now not a Best Buy exclusive anymore. It's now everywhere. You know how Best Buy put it out first for a couple of months, but now it's put out everywhere. And Warner Brothers is the ones putting this out now. And the thing I wanted to talk about this is that Warner Brothers, I just read an article the other day that Warner Brothers acquired the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise. So now Freddy Krueger and Jason are all under one roof now, under Warner Brothers, and we're hopefully going to be getting a box set or other releases of the Friday the 13th franchise, on Blu-ray. Because I saw 7 and 8 are probably going to be released on Blu-ray soon. I'll put a link in the description box next to the title of the Nightmare on Elm Street collection, in the description box, so you guys can click on it and read the article. But Nightmare on Elm Street has always been one of my favorite franchises ever. I would say the first and the last are two of my favorites. I just love Miko Hughes, playing that little kid and Freddy coming after him and trying to possess him and stuff. You can't go wrong with Roseanne and Tom Arnold. And what was it, Freddy's Dead? That was really funny. But the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise has always been the one that I love the most. This one and then the Friday the 13th franchise are the two of my favorite horror franchises of all time. But you guys, this set now, like I said, is out everywhere now. And it's not just exclusive anymore, but you get all 7 movies in one box set with a bonus disc with all this cool content on it, which you guys will totally dig. 2 episodes of Freddy's TV show, Freddy's Nightmare show on there. Nightmare on Elm Street now on Blu-ray, man. Yeah. Alright guys, next up from 20th Century Fox is the remake of Red Dawn. You guys all know the original Red Dawn from 1984, starring Patrick Swayze and C. Thomas Howell. This is the remake one, starring Josh Peck and Chris Hemsworth, the guy that played Thor. This movie is pretty much about this small town, I believe in Washington. One morning, the people of the town wake up to people in parachutes parachuting into their city with machine guns and shooting. And these 6 kids happen to escape and hide out in the woods. and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and everyone in the town's being captured by these terrorists, or whatever you want to call them. You have to watch it and find out. And they're hiding in the woods, trying to go, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then one of them sees his dad get murdered, and he's like, oh, what the hell? And this is them pretty much going, you know what? This is our town. Oh, we're gonna take it back. You know, and it's pretty much them trying to get the bad guys that are keeping the town hostage. You know what I mean? But it was just a really, really fun remake. You could totally tell it's a PG-13 action flick because they cut away from like people getting shot or like big things, or something really big is gonna happen, and they kind of like, you know, cut away from it, or someone gets shot in the head and it's just like this, bang, bang. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you can feel and just smell the PG-13ness of this movie. I believe the original Red Dawn from '84 was PG-13 also, but from the '80s it was a little bit more hardcore. They can get back then they can get away with a little bit more. But this movie was actually kind of fun. It's cool. You get a Blu-ray, DVD, digital copy in this pack. There's no special features on this set at all. But if you like Chris Hemsworth, you like Josh Peck and the cast, I would check it out. Yeah, it's a little fun. It's a fun action flick. It's not mind-blowing or anything, but it's fun. Alright guys, next up is the Marine 3 starring The Miz. You guys all know from the WWE. This is actually produced by the WWE studios. I don't want to lie, I have never seen the second one. I saw the first one with John Cena. It was entertaining. But this one right here stars The Miz and Ashley Bell. You guys all know from the last Exorcism movie. She was actually kind of good in this one. It's pretty much The Miz is a Marine. He's coming home for 2 weeks to visit his family before he has to go back to the Marines and do his Marine thing. One day, his sister's going out with her boyfriend, and her and her boyfriend witness a murder. And these people take his sister, and The Miz is just pretty much him trying to get his sister, you know, to save his sister, and all the stuff that he has to do that. And that's pretty much the story of the movie. You know what I mean? But it's a fun one. I really did enjoy myself with this one. I like this one a little bit more than Red Dawn, to be honest with you. And of course you get some behind-the-scenes special features on this. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. If you guys like the other Marine movies, I haven't seen the second one, so I can't say anything. But if you like the Marine one, you most likely will like this one also. But The Miz, man, I don't know. I liked him. He was good. Next up right here from Disney is WreckIt Ralph on 3D, regular Blu-ray, and DVD digital copy pack here. I didn't get a chance to see this movie in theaters, and I absolutely fell in love with it, man, because I loved video games. Especially back when I was a kid. Now, not as much, but back then I loved it. And this one is pretty much about this guy named Ralph. He's in this video game. He's a bad guy. You know, he's like wrecking things. He's wrecking buildings. It's kind of like the game that he's in is kind of like Rampage. The game I used to play called Rampage, where you're supposed to like wreck buildings and things. And it's called Fix-It Felix Jr., the game that he's in. And he's a bad guy. He's just really sick of always having to be the bad guy for over 30 years. He's even going to meetings with other bad guys from other games, going, you know, just doing their thing, trying to talk out their problems. And I just think it's really cool. It's a really cute movie. It's kind of like Toy Story, the Toy Story movies in a way. That what do the characters do in these video games when the arcade is closed? It's just a really, really sweet movie. Of course, you get Sarah Silverman in there playing the glitch. I just absolutely fell in love with this movie. You get a making of on here with the creators of this talking about how John Lasseter said, hey guys, come up with a concept for a movie that has to do with video games. And, you know, first they were talking about Fix-It Felix was like the main antagonist of the movie. And then they changed it to WreckIt Ralph being the main guy in this movie. I don't know, man. It's just really, really a nice movie. It's a really nice packaging with a gold around it. This is the Ultimate Collector's Edition. I totally would check this movie out if you guys haven't got a chance to see it. I bet half of you guys already have. But that's WreckIt Ralph on 3D, Blu-ray, regular Blu-ray DVD combo pack. What a wonderful movie. Next up right here is the Hunchback of Notre Dom. Actually, 3-disc special edition, but it's a 2-movie collection, so you get Hunchback of Notre Dame 1 and 2 on it. I always loved the first one. The second one is not as memorable to me as the first, The only thing I remembered about the second one is that Jennifer Love Hewitt, you guys all know her from like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Party of Five and stuff like that, and voiced the love interest in part 2. So I think she sung the end credit song of Hunchback of Notre Dame too. But the transfer on this is just amazing, especially for the first one. I love the songs, you know, the bells of Notre Dame. I can't sing, so don't even like put me on American Idol or anything. But this is a 3-disc set here. You get the Hunchback of Notre Dame 1 and 2 on one Blu-ray, and the DVDs come on. You get the first Hunchback on one DVD, and the other Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 on a separate DVD. And you get all the classic bonus features that you got from the original DVD releases of these movies, which is a cool thing. And you guys all know Hunchback is a story about a group of gypsies. One of them has a baby. They're trying to get out of Notre Dame somehow, and the bad guy catches them and sees this, you know, demon baby or whatever he would like to call it, and then banishes the kid to the bell tower. And then then the little baby grows up to be Quasimodo, and he just dreams about leaving the bell tower to, you know, go down to meet the people, because he's always up in his bell tower talking to the wooden statues that actually come alive when he's actually up there talking to them. But then when other people come up there, they turn to stone again. I always loved the Hunchback of Notre Dame. The second one, it's okay. It's not the greatest, but it is cool because Jennifer Love Hewitt voiced the love interest in it. But this is the Hunchback of Notre Dame 2-movie collection now on Blu-ray, 3-disc special edition. I would totally check this one out, guys, especially if you're a Disney fan, you know. Next up right here is another one. Is a 3-disc special edition. Includes Mulan and Mulan 2. But now this is the 15th anniversary edition of Mulan on Blu-ray. And it's the same as the Hunchback one. You get Mulan and Mulan 2 on one Blu-ray, and then the other 2 films on their own separate DVDs. If you guys don't know the story about Mulan, it's about a girl that pretty much goes undercover as a boy to protect her father from having to go to war. So, you know, he doesn't have to hurt himself in war anymore, because he's already been in war a couple of times. And she cuts off her hair, puts it up in a bun to try to make herself look like a man, and then goes to war to try to, you know, save their kingdom from, you know, being destroyed by this evil guy, which you have to see to find out if you don't know it. But the songs of this movie is just amazing. I always love the charm and just the awesomeness factor of old Disney songs. You know what I mean? Those are the ones I like Hunchback, the bells of Notre Dame. I don't know, man. I always just love the songs of old Disney movies. But on this set right here, of course, just like the Hunchback one, you get the original classic DVD features that you have gotten on the other DVDs on here. You get commentary, you get 11 deleted scenes, 15 backstage Disney features. Very, very nicely put together set. If you guys love Mulan like I do, man, check out the Blu-ray DVD combo pack, guys. But this movie right here is from the producers of Paranormal Activity and Insidious. It stars Ethan Hawke. He plays a writer. He always writes about murders and what happens to murders. And he had this one real popular book, I think back in the 80s or early 90s, that it was really, really super popular. He was on TV shows, talk shows, talking about his book. And he hasn't had a really popular book for like a long time now. Him and his family are moving to this new house so he can write this new book. But the thing is, he's not telling his family that a family of 4 hung themselves in the backyard. But he knows this. And as soon as he moves into the house, he finds these tapes in the attic. And it's of these murders happening to different families and to the family that died at that house. And then all this weird, crazy stuff starts happening. It was fun. It was okay, but it wasn't the greatest horror film I've ever seen or anything. Like, it seems like a lot of movies that are coming out recently haven't been all that great. You know, The Possession was fun. It was good. It wasn't great. You know what I mean? We had The Apparition. It was fun. Wasn't great. It just felt like it could have been done a lot better. It is a fun watch. It's just, it didn't really impress me at all, to be honest with you.
Hello. Thought I'd just pop in again very, very quickly. I have just a few I want to tell you about. This first one I have is called The Intouchables. And it's a foreign film starring Francois Cluzet, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct, and Omar Sy. And it is in French and with subtitles. And this is a great story. It's based on a true story between these two men. Not, these aren't the real life people, but he is a French aristocrat. He is a street guy from the projects, and they do have projects in France apparently. So it's basically how they change each other's life or their view of life. This gentleman here is totally disabled. He cannot move at all except for his head. That's basically it. He ends up hiring this gentleman here to, assist him with his daily routines and that type of thing. And it's just about, the adventures and how they share life together. And I really, really, really liked it. If foreign films aren't your thing, I understand that. But this one, even with the subtitles, you can follow really easily, and I think it was really very good, very touching. The next one I have is my old favorite, Nurse Jackie, because I don't get Showtime on my regular television, and so I wait till the Blu-ray comes out, and I get it. This is, of course, Nurse Jackie. I believe this is, season 4. And it stars Edie Falco from, I'm sure you all know, from The Sopranos fame. She's a nurse in a hospital, and she's also a drug addict, so you can imagine the stories that go on with that. In this particular season, excuse me, another one of her buddies from Sopranos happens to show up in the form of a lawyer. The person is the actress is Ida Turturro. You may remember her as the main guy's sister in Sopranos. This is a great series because you can just imagine all the things that she gets into. She's a nurse in an emergency room in a hospital, and she's a drug addict. How easy could that be, right? And it's just really great. It's got great characters. This new season has Bobby, Carnival, and I forget what he's from. I know he's real familiar to me. God forgive me if you see this, Bobby. He plays a new hospital administrator. He's very good. And it's all the regular characters, and they're just really a lot of fun. So don't miss this one. Next one now, of course, you all know how I love the BBC, right? Love it, love it, love it from last time. This one is great. It's from, Acorn Media. And this is a BBC program, TV series called Dirk Gently. And it's about a detective, excuse me, and his detective agency is the Holistic Detective Agency. And I'll tell you something funny about that in a moment. It stars Steve Mangan and, Darren Boyd and Helen Baxendale. I don't know if any of you have ever watched the TV show Episodes with Matt LeBlanc, but he's the English gentleman that's in the show. He is very funny in this, as he is in the other one as well. He plays a goofy detective, and his favorite line is web of interconnected events. Things. Like I say, Darren Boyd, Stephen Mangan, and Helen Baxendale. This is great for any of you that like detective, even books, detective mysteries, that kind of thing. Takes place in England, my favorite place. It's just about the different cases he gets and how he goes about solving them. You'd really, really like this. It's really very funny. The last two things I have here are, I don't know if you guys like bloopers or not, but I find them really entertaining. I have right here classic TV bloopers and classic movie bloopers. Now these particular editions that I have here, they're from older shows and older movies. The TV one, you've got, different bloopers from like Dick Van Dyke Show, Happy Days, that type of stuff, and, little Hogan's Heroes, that type of thing. So it really doesn't matter as long as you've seen these, programs. It's really funny. Star Trek's in it, that kind of stuff. They're really funny bloopers, on-camera bloopers. And the same thing for the movies. It's just from the older movies, nothing recent. But it's still funny to see your favorite stars messing up. Thanks for letting me come by and do this quick review of a few movies I really like. let's go back and see what Brendan's doing.
Alright guys, next up from Kino is a Hindi movie called The Pool. This one's directed by the guy that made the movie American Movie. If you guys have never seen American Movie, I suggest you guys check that one out. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But this one right here is a Hindi movie. It has English subtitles. It's pretty much about this one kid. I forgot his name in the movie. I don't want to like mispronounce it and sound stupid. But he works in this hotel. He cleans rooms, and every day on his lunch break or whatever, he goes up onto this mango tree to peer over this wall to this rich person's backyard and beautiful garden, and he always stares at this rich guy's pool and always just wants to jump in there and wants to know what it feels like to, you know, dip into this pool and just have the life and have this nice place to be. Yet he works in this, you know, place where he has to like bring people room service, but his dreams are just so simple. He just wants to have his own garden, wants to have his own place and his own pool to be able to go into. It's such a beautiful, beautifully told story. There's not really much going on in the movie, but when you watch it, you really get into it. Like, it's just a really beautiful movie. I highly suggest you guys check this one out. Very, very touching, very moving story. I fell in love with this movie. Alright guys, next up is Buster Keaton in College. This is the movie Buster Keaton made right after he made The General, one of his most expensive movies that Buster Keaton has ever made. And Buster Keaton never made a profit on The General, even till his death. And that was like one of the movies that he really loved, but it never made as much money as he thought it was going to. And this is the one he made right after, which is on a much lower budgeted scale. Like, you can see and feel the independentness of this feature. It's pretty much Buster Keaton going to college and then trying to impress this one girl, working a couple of odd jobs, and it's more slapsticky than it is epic. You know what I mean? Like, The General was like a big epic movie about him on this train and the wars going on and him just doing all this kind of stuff, and what was it? The Navigators, him on this big boat, you know, big epic boat, and these, you know, of course, crazy cannibal people trying to get him towards the end. It's like, you know, big epicness. This was more of like a lower budget slapsticky style movie, which is still good. It's not one of Buster Keaton's best movies, but it is totally enjoyable for Buster Keaton fans. But this Blu-ray right here looks really, it's a nice transfer. And you also get a commentary on here by film historian, what's his name again? Rob Farr. And I listened to the commentary and learned a lot of cool stuff from him, like in one or two scenes of this movie where Buster Keaton's like on a football field or a stadium, and like the people that are like doing like the javelin throw and the, you know, big, you know, different little things are real Olympians from like the 1920s. And it was just really cool to know that the people there, they're not just actors messing around. They're like real Olympians that Buster Keaton used in this movie. If you guys are Buster Keaton fans, I highly suggest checking this one out. You can't go wrong with Kino's releases with these cool little, you know, slip covers. We used to slide it right in. I don't know. I like Kino's presentation. And if you guys are a Buster Keaton fan, definitely check out College. Like I said, it's not one of his best movies, but it totally is worth having in your collection. Alright guys, next up from Magnet, and that is Sushi Girl on Blu-ray, starring James Duval, Tony Todd, Mark Hamill. This movie is pretty much about these thieves. One of them gets caught and sent to jail. And he's getting out like, what, 5 or 6 years later. And all these criminals that went to this one big heist are gathering in this weird underground place, and they're meeting up to find out where the jewels are. And they don't know what's going on and who has the jewels, and did that guy tell anything when he was in jail, kind of thing. This movie really kind of has a vibe of Reservoir Dogs in it. You know what I mean? Where they have this one, and it's called Sushi Girl. You have to watch the movie to find out what Sushi Girl means. You have to watch it. It's really a fun concept for a movie. And Tony Todd plays a really menacing character in this. Just like Candyman and it was called the Final Destination movies. I don't know, man. I always really loved Tony Todd. I think he's a very underrated actor. Of course, Mark Hamill in there, you guys all know from Star Wars, playing a character in this movie that you would have never expected Mark Hamill to ever play. You know, you have to watch this movie to find out. But I really did enjoy this movie. I can't really say much more about the movie without giving stuff away, because it's a real simple story. but it's really, really entertaining to watch. That's Sushi Girl on Blu-ray. Check this one out, guys. Next up right here, from Magnolia, and that is The Coalition. This movie is just pretty much about relationship problems and how different athletes treat women. You know what I mean? Like they're objects, and like, I have money, I can go to some other girl. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And then what the girls do and how they get sick and tired of these rich, powerful men, athletes or whatever, treating them like crap all the time and always moving on to the next woman, and what they're going to do about it. Is pretty much the basis of this movie. I believe the filmmakers of this movie, this was their first big feature film that they've done. I gotta hand it to them. It's a very good step into their first feature. I really do respect what they did here. It's not the best movie ever made, but for a first feature for anybody to make, this was a nice little watch, a nice movie to watch. Not like mind-blowingly awesome, but it was okay. And last up right here from Asylum is, you can get this one at Best Buy. I believe it's like a Best Buy exclusive. And this is the Blu-ray DVD combo pack of Rise of the Zombies. And the reason I really wanted to see this is because the cast of this movie really stood out to me. That and zombies. Because I always love zombie movies, especially the George Romero movies. Don't compare this movie to the George Romero movies or anything like that, because those are the legit, awesome, zombie movies. This is fun, okay, but not as good as those. But this is the reason why I wanted to check this out so much, because it stars Danny Trejo, Ethan Suplee, which you guys all know from like American History X, and he was in Mallrats, like playing the guy that's staring at the painting. And you also get LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow and Star Trek and Roots in this movie. The movie opens up and there's this one pregnant lady walking the streets of San Francisco, and she's wandering around, and zombies just killed her friends down the street. She's kind of walking around trying to figure out what she's going to do, and then it cuts to people on Alcatraz that, swam the waters to get to Alcatraz to stay away from the zombie outbreak that's happening. And while they're on Alcatraz, they find out that French Stewart's character, he's like a scientist on some other part of the town, that he has an antidote for the zombie outbreak that's happening, and it's them trying to figure out how they're going to get to his, French Stewart's character. And LeVar Burton plays like a doctor scientist guy that's on Alcatraz, and Ethan Suplee plays like a war guy, like a war veteran kind of guy, trying to beat down people. And of course you get Danny Trejo just being Danny Trejo. But the thing is, in this movie, you would probably expect like Danny Trejo and like LeVar Burton, all these guys to die within like 5 seconds, or only be in the movie for like 5 seconds. No, you get them in there for a good amount of time. Like, They're not just like throwaway, appearances in a movie. You know what I mean? But I really did enjoy myself watching this. It's because I do love the actors that are in it. Some of the effects are kind of corny and cheesy, but it's a really fun zombie movie. If you guys love zombies, I would definitely check this one out. Even on the cover here, it says a must-see zombie movie for any zombie aficionado. It is true. I would definitely give this one a watch, guys, if you see this out there. That's pretty much my update for today, guys, and thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys like my updates, make sure you guys thumbs them up, and leave a comment in the description box letting me know what good movies you guys found over the last couple weeks. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.